Jeffrey Morgenthaler. Two of the most influential people, definitely in the bar industry. Two amazing bartenders, mixologists. I think you like to be referred as bar chef. Bar chef. Amazing authors. Two of the most influential authors. Two of the best books in the industry right now. Barry's written 12 plus, and then Mr. Morgenthaler wrote the bar book.
One exactly, not one plus, just one exactly.
But he hit it out of the park with that first one. So, honestly, if you've not picked up either of the books, they're amazing and they're a must-read for any bartender. So today we're going to be talking about Tales of the Negroni, and we're also going to be streaming this live on Periscope, and we're also going to be doing a live Twitter feed. So it's going to be a bit more of a conversation today. If anyone has any questions, just raise your hand. Welcome to interrupt, and we'd be happy to ask these two guys. Also, we'll be taking questions from the live Twitter feed as well. And so, I know you guys don't want to hear me talk anymore, so we have Mr. Morgenthaler doing something very weird, and guys, Regan.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, motherfuckers. Thanks everybody for coming, and thanks to Campari for bringing Jeffrey and me over here, and Leo, to do this. It's been a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of Negronis. So, thank you, Jeffrey. That's enough. Excuse me. Oh. So it's my job to talk about the history of the Negroni. And I'm going to start out by talking about the history of the Cosmopolitan. You're all familiar with the Cosmopolitan cocktail, yeah? So for years, I thought that Cointreau had made up the Cosmopolitan. And Cointreau kept telling me, no, a woman in Florida named Cheryl Cook invented it. And I tried to find Cheryl Cook. I even had an FBI agent looking for her, and she was nowhere to be found. So I finally said, Cointreau made her up. Until in the late 1990s, I got an email from Cheryl Cook, and it turned out that it actually was created by this woman bartender in Florida. So similarly, with the Negroni, for many, many years, I believed that Campari had made up Count Negroni. I never believed he was a real person. But it was fine, it was a nice story. Then I was proved wrong yet again. And I was proved wrong by a guy called David Wondrich. You might not know him. He's a big shot.
What's that name again?
David Wondrich, have you heard of him? Yeah. He's a historian, writes about cocktails, and he found a book, an Italian book by Luca Picci, which is now available in English. I don't know whether it's available in German, but he did a fabulous job with this. And Luca Picci tracked down descendants of Fosco Scarselli, who was the bartender who actually served Count Negroni, the very first Negroni. So, there's nothing better, as I'm sure most of you know, than to have a really good story behind a cocktail. Because then you've got something to cocktail in its own right, as you all know, is a fabulous drink, but with the story behind it, it makes it even better. So, when I found out Count Negroni was an actual person, I wanted to know more and more about him. And it turns out that Count Negroni, Italian nobility, was also a really tough fucker. And he, excuse me, in the late 1800s, he went to America and he became a cowboy. And he rode the range in the wild, wild west. And then, after doing that for a while, he went to New York. And after spending some time in New York, he went back to Italy. And in the cafe, Cassoni in Florence, which was his local bar, everybody was drinking Americanos, which was a mix of Campari and sweet vermouth with club soda on the top. Count Negroni, though, was such a tough motherfucker, he said, screw the soda, put gin in there, and the Negroni cocktail was born. So, David Wondrich is a historian of great renown. And when I published my book on the Negroni, at the very last minute, he emailed me with an attachment and it said, Gaz, never say I didn't give you anything. And the attachment was a copy of a 1928 newspaper article written by a guy whose name was, I'll get to that, but what was his name? Oh, Bob Davis. Bob Davis was an American reporter who went to Italy and he's driving around and he sees a guy on horseback. This is 1928. The guy on horseback was in full Western regalia with a 10-gallon hat and the chaps and everything. He got out of his car, looked at this guy on horseback and said, do you speak English? And it was Count Negroni. And Count Negroni looked at him and said, you're tootin' at you, hombre. So he had the whole Western talk, the whole lingo and everything. And there was a great conversation that's recorded. It's in my Negroni book. It's also in this Negroni book. But the conversation fascinated me. And right before I came to Germany, in fact this was last Friday, I read through the article again, looking for clues as to who Count Negroni was. We knew he was a cowboy, we knew he was a tough motherfucker, but in this article there were two names mentioned. And I decided to look up these names and find out who they were. One guy was a guy called Bob Fitzsimmons. And Bob Fitzsimmons and Count Negroni made a ton of money at the horse track and threw a massive dinner for everybody. And Bob Fitzsimmons, at that time, about 1898, was the world heavyweight boxing champion. So Kel Maroney is hanging out with the world heavyweight boxing champion, which again gave me a little look at who Kel Maroney was. He was a high roller, he liked to party, he was in good company. The second name that came up was Walter Gordon Cumming. And Walter Gordon Cumming owned a ranch in Canada, the Oxley Ranch. And Kel Maroney worked at that ranch in Canada. So I decided to look up, this is all just on Google and Wikipedia. I looked up Walter Gordon Cumming, and sure enough, he was a rancher, and a big-time rancher. But when I put Gordon Cumming into the search engine, I found another Gordon Cumming, Sir William Alexander Gordon Cumming, who was Scottish nobility. Now, when Walter Gordon Cumming died, his body was taken to Scotland and buried at the estate of Sir William Alexander Gordon Cumming. So I have to think that these two were related in some way. And Sir William was fabulous. He was a real personality in his own right. And he was accused of cheating at a card game with the Prince of Wales in the UK. And he was found guilty of cheating at this card game and ostracized from society. But this guy had an affair. He had affairs with a lot of women. One of them was Lady Randolph Churchill, who was Winston Churchill's mother. So for me, this completed the picture of Kel Maroney, who was a real playboy, he was a real tough motherfucker, and he invented one of the finest drinks that we're ever going to see. We'll see lots of variations on the Negroni. And I applaud each and every bartender who creates their own variation. For my money though, it is not a Negroni unless it has Campari. Campari is the deciding factor in is it a Negroni or a Negroni variation. The gin and the vermouth, we don't know what gin he was using. We don't know what vermouth he was using. But we know that Campari was an integral ingredient. So, that concludes my history of the Negroni, and although I might not have answers, I'm happy to field any questions. Nobody's got any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Regan?
Why Americano was so popular in Florence?
He wants to know why the Americano was so popular in Florence.
excuse me, the Americano was based on two other drinks, and I've forgotten their names. But the mixture of Campari and sweet vermouth in the late 1800s became the standard drink for Italians afterwards. So why was it popular? Because it's really good. Other than that, I have no real idea.
Do we have any other questions?
How are we time-wise?
So the voices on this Twitter thing,
Yeah.
they're tweeting at you. They want to know, do you remember your first Negroni? And can you describe the experience?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you remember your first Negroni?
No, I don't. It must have been a good session. And I do know in 1999 I did a variation on the Negroni. So I know that sometime in the 1990s I discovered the Negroni, but the exact time, no idea.
Can you tell us about that variation?
Very simple. It was, I'm making this up approximately 8 parts gin, 1 part Campari, 1 part sweet vermouth. Very simple, worked well.
Boozier Negroni.
Sorry?
A boozier Negroni.
Just for me.
And you don't remember that one either.
Yeah. I called it the Valentino, after Rudolph Valentino.
So the world also wants to know, what gets you so excited about the Negroni?
Okay. The Negroni is a fairly strong drink, but it's not like the Jim Martini's club. So the Negroni I can drink with breakfast without too many people raising their eyebrows. I can drink Negronis at lunch and still go back to work in the afternoon. And I can drink Negronis all night long and get really drunk. So yeah, it's an all-the-day drink, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
He wants to know about the Negroni listed in a Spanish cocktail book in 1954 by a different name. He was asking about a Negroni that was listed in 1954 in a Spanish cocktail book by a different name. Do you have any history on that?
I don't know anything about it, I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
Actually, just to go back to that for 1 minute. Really?
He wants to know about the other theory that the French invented the Negroni.
Yeah.
Oliver Pascal the Negroni.
Listen,
What are your thoughts?
I have been proved wrong many times. I don't think this one is the one to prove me wrong. And the guy who's been all over social media claiming to be the descendant of this French guy, I get the impression And I don't know this, I've never met him, that he's just winding us up. You know, but as for proof, he didn't have any proof. Whereas the Italian Campari, there's tons of evidence that this actually happened. And the guy, the French version, you ask him for proof, and he always just says, I don't need proof. It was my great-grandfather, and that's all I need to know. So I think he was stirring the pot to annoy people. But to go back for a second to the 1954 Spanish mentor, this happens all the time. A new product comes out, and bartenders create new drinks with it. One bartender's in Berlin, another bartender's in Paris, another bartender's in Los Angeles, and they all come up with the same drink and give it different names. It's a no-brainer, really, yeah?
Thank you, Gary. We're going to have some more questions at the end, but we want to move on to Mr. Morgenthaler over here. And,
Is my mic on?
it's on.
God, I hate these things.
It's very Britney Spears of you.
Can you hear me? Hi! Can you hear me? Okay. If anyone came out here today to hear me be funny, that's actually tomorrow over there at 3. I'll be serious this time. I'll be funny tomorrow. I actually got asked very recently by a reporter doing a story on the Negroni, a really interesting question that I don't have an answer to, and maybe you do, as to why the Negroni is so popular right now. I mean, we're talking about a drink that was buried in obscurity, right? Like the Manhattan, right? You know, it kind of went like this. The old-fashioned kind of went like this. Martini kind of went like this. Rose back to a great new high school. Like the Negroni, nobody talked about a Negroni back in the, certainly not when I started bartending in the 90s, in the mid-90s, nobody talked about Negroni. Or before that, you think about the 80s, there's no mention of the Negroni. 70s, nobody was really drinking Negronis. I mean, it probably fell out of fashion in, the 19...
Can you look a little bit on this?
40s? 40s and 50s, yeah. So, I didn't really have an answer for why the Negroni is so popular again. Do you have, so that's my question for you, is do you have any idea why the Negroni is so popular again?
It's really easy.
It's really easy, yeah.
It works well no matter how you make it.
Yes.
You can go up or down on each ingredient. I was taken to task by somebody saying, you have to make it equal. And my reply to that was, please don't.
It's very forgiving, right?
Yeah,
so if you
yeah.
kind of make it 2-1-1, you make it 3-1-1, if you make it 1.5-1-1, it's all sort of good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's a good drink to turn on people who don't like gin.
Sure.
You know, you can
Yeah. Which I might actually kind of disagree with you a little bit. Of course, there are plenty of people that don't like gin in the world, but I would say that if somebody that doesn't like gin, they're probably not going to like Campari. So maybe it's a good drink to spring on somebody that doesn't like Campari, because as we all know, you need to try Campari a few times before you. Yeah, I don't really know what made it so popular. I mean, I first heard about it from either Paul Harrington or from this book, Joy of Mixology, written by Dale DeGroff. Please stay on stage, don't leave. Okay, I'll leave it too. I mean, that's where I first heard of it, right around the same time that I discovered Campari, or had it sort of discovered upon me. I was at a dinner, somebody said, would you like to try some Campari? I had been bartending for probably 5 years at this point. I'd never heard of Campari, right? Tried it, hated it, and then tried it again, but was intrigued by it, tried it again, and tried it again, and tried it again, and then, I fell in love with it. So I don't really know why the Negroni is back, but I'm certainly glad that it is. And I wrote a piece fairly recently about the Negroni and why I think it's such a great go-to cocktail. You know, as you were saying, you can't really fuck up the recipe too much, right? I mean, we can order it at the airport. We can order it at the sports bar. As long as you've got gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari, and some ice, you're probably going to be able to make it. I would prefer it with an orange twist, but if you're the kind of bar that doesn't have fresh oranges, fuck it, I don't care. You know, whatever. As long as you've got some ice and those three ingredients, I think we're pretty good. And you can also, you know, like one of my theories about the Negroni is you can order it without sounding like an asshole. You know, if I really want to order like if I walk into a bar, like a dive bar or an airport bar, and I say I want a last word, what the fuck is that noise? That is so crazy. If I walk into a bar and I say, I want a last word, can you please make me equal parts gin, lime juice, maraschino liqueur, and green chartreuse, I'm going to look and feel like a total dick. But if I walk into a bar and say, can you take equal parts gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth and throw it over ice for me? I think it's got more legs that way, right? Anyway, so the Negroni is back and certainly here to stay. I'm sure all of you can understand why I was invited here to talk to you, and that's because of the barrel-aged Negroni that's been so popular and so good to me press-wise over the years. To give you a little bit of background for those of you who don't know, it was 2009. I was doing some work for Cachaça Company, Pocoloca, doing a little European tour, and we happened to be at Tony Canigliaro's bar, the bar with no name at 69 Holbrook Road. And I was there just drinking, and I put on Facebook or whatever that I was there having some drinks, and Philip Duff actually texted me and said, ask Tony for the aged Manhattan, which none of those words made any sense to me together. Aged Manhattan, I had no idea what he meant, but I sort of went with my phone to Tony and was like, can you tell me about this? And Tony produced a Manhattan that had been aged for 5 years in a glass bottle, right? Under the sort of theory, Tony's theory was that 5 years gave the rye whiskey and the vermouth plenty of time to mix together. Okay, it tasted good. It tasted like a Manhattan that maybe had sat in a glass bottle for 5 years. It was fine. But I couldn't stop thinking about this drink that I'd had. And on the way back home on the plane, I was thinking about this barrel that I had at home. Don't ask me why I had an oak barrel. I had a 1 gallon oak barrel at my house. Let's not get into why. But I did have one, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I had been seasoning it with Madeira wine. So I had poured some Madeira in there and sealed it up and stuck it under my cabinet, and that was it. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought maybe I would sort of age some of your orange bitters that I was making so much of from your book. I didn't know, but on the plane on the way home, I was thinking about that barrel, and I thought, what if we put the Manhattan in the barrel? I tried it out, and we did, and sure enough, it tasted pretty good. Little side note, I was the brand new bar manager at Clyde Common at the time, and my boss was really like looking at me as like, please don't fuck up my restaurant, right? So I tell him I come back from Europe, which was already a bone of contention, like I should be there working, but I was off gallivanting around Europe. And I came back and I was like, I saw this new thing. It was an aged Manhattan, so I'm going to try to age Manhattan in an oak barrel. And he's watching as I'm pouring liquor into this barrel, and he's standing over me looking like, if this thing doesn't work out, you are so fucking fired. And we pulled it out. Sure enough, it tasted great. And he ordered a bunch of. We aged that one for 6 weeks. We bought a bunch of Hudson. They're right over there. A bunch of the Hudson bourbon barrels, and I just felt like a Negroni was the right drink to go in that. I mean, obviously, whiskey and Campari and sweet vermouth go very well together, especially if you look at the Blue Bardelay formula. So we tried a Negroni, and it was just gold. I mean, we put it on the menu, and it was sold out week after week. We kept having to buy more and more barrels. I put it up on my website. It became very popular, and you know, there we are with the barrel-aged Negroni. But I also, a few years ago, was, of course, I'm a big fan of Dave Arnold, as I'm sure everybody in here is. And Dave had written a piece about infusing cocktails with flavors under pressure using the EC cream whipper. So basically the whole premise of this thing is you fill it with whipped cream, put the lid on, put some nitrogen in, and then it just makes perfectly whipped, beautiful. It's got one of these, and you can decorate a cake with it. You know what I'm talking about. Dave was the guy who sort of put forth this idea that you could put a drink in here, or a syrup, or a liqueur, or whatever, and oh wow, look at that! I was like, what are they all looking at? Then you could put a syrup or a liqueur or a liquor or something in there, and you can infuse it under pressure in a very short time, as opposed to infusing some herbs in a simple syrup, or infusing some fruit in a gin or whatever over a long period of time. That you could do this in minutes. And I thought, what a cool idea! What if we could rapidly infuse a Negroni, which is what we're doing when we're aging in wood, basically, with wood chips. So these are bourbon barrel wood chips. They make them for like barbecuing and smoking and stuff. So this is a used bourbon barrel, as you guys probably know. You can't use a bourbon barrel twice, at least not to make bourbon. You have to get rid of it. You have to sell it to a rum company, sell it to a tequila company. Some of them, run the barrels through a wood chipper and sell these to barbecue enthusiasts. So what I have in here is 250 milliliters of Negroni, and we've got some samples, but I wasn't really expecting this many people to show up. Were you? Yeah, so either 1 out of 10 people is going to get a sample, or each of you is going to get 2 drops of barrel-aged Negroni in your mouth. Either way, sorry. We will have more over at the Campari booth. Anyway, this is 200... Well, you and I have plenty, yeah. In fact, fuck these people. Yeah. We're the ones doing all the work. So I've got 250 milliliters of Negroni in here. So to that, I add 25 grams of these wood chips using my perfectly calibrated digital hand. Right? That is so weird, man. I should have got my nails done before I did this. So all we did was add some of these wood chips to the Negroni. And then this was where it starts to get kind of fun. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Good night.
What's not the fun part?
Yes, please. So, with that secured tightly, I'll take one of these nitrogen containers. And you want to be very careful that you don't accidentally spray this all over a crowd of people. I'll dump one in there, and then we're just going to shake it to mix everything up. I want to put this under like a tremendous amount of pressure, so we're actually going to do that again. I'm going to take a second cartridge, and this is a 1 liter cream whipper. This is the big one.
Jack, my quick question, does it have to be nitrogen?
It's got to be nitrogen, yeah, otherwise we're going to carbonate it with CO2, and we don't want this to be carbonated. Carbonation is going to bring, obviously, bubbles, and it's going to bring carbonic acid. When the carbon dioxide combines with water, it's going to form a little bit of carbonic acid, which gives carbonated beverages that kind of sour taste. You know what I'm talking about there? You know what I'm talking about.
Is there another name for the
Thank you.
nitrogen?
Yeah, thanks for making yourself useful. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
These would also be called cream chargers, right?
Cream chargers, yeah. So what we did with the sample that 1 or 2 of you got is we let this sit for about 15 minutes, half an hour. The longer you let it sit, obviously it's going to taste more woody. But the really important next step is to very gently release. Yeah, you better step out of the way, guys. Could get dangerous. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Gary was just asking if we do it with the cartridge still in. It doesn't matter. The contents of this thing have been injected into the cream whipper or into the thing anyway. So we can take it off, we can leave it in. It doesn't matter. But what we do is just release the pressure. You absolutely need to release the pressure on this before you unscrew the cap. Otherwise, you're going to have a Negroni explosion on your hands. So once we've done that, all we have to do is pop it open. It's best if you strain it. I don't have strainers, so yeah. Oh yeah, so we'll talk about this bullshit in a little bit. Finger stuff. This is really disgusting. And you know what? There are going to be people lined up to drink this thing after it's done churning it. There, get that out of there. And then all we need to do is just stir it and strain it and garnish it until it's done, and we have basically like a quick infused barrel aged Negroni. And that's it. That's all you got. Yeah. Tastes like ham, doesn't it?
It's almost like you know what you're doing. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Thank you.
What's that?
So,
With coffee beans, yeah, it totally works with any sort of organic material. Yeah, for sure.
so the wine world wants to know a few questions.
Yeah.
They want to know, how do you two know each other? How did you meet?
How do we know each other? I know Gary because I've been a fan of his for probably close to a decade now. Gary doesn't actually have any idea who I am.
Me either.
Yeah.
I knew Jeffrey when he was 8 years old. I've been following him ever since. He was 8, I was about 52.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know each other at all.
Yeah.
So another question, I think, all of us in this room are bartenders, and I think part of our craft is creating a cocktail consistently every single time that tastes exactly the same. And I think one of the biggest questions about barrel aging is, how do you get a consistent cocktail?
Well, I mean, I think of it, barrel aging cocktails is no different than barrel aging whiskey. There are a couple of ways, a few ways to maintain consistency. One would be, we always taste at regular intervals. We taste every week to see how the drink is coming. A lot of it is just like our palates. My bartenders and I know when the drink tastes good. If there's any question, we'll kind of run it by each other. If it's gone too far, or if it's not done yet, we'll work with that. If it's gone too far, we'll sometimes blend in fresh Negroni to kind of cut back on the aging. But really, that's it. That and blending, of course, blending between barrels certainly works really well. But we absolutely strive for consistency, just the way a bourbon. Wild Turkey has to taste like Wild Turkey throughout the years and throughout the batches, and so they taste everything that comes out of the barrel. They blend it together and make sure that Wild Turkey always tastes like Wild Turkey. So it's no different with cocktails.
So if you add fresh Negroni, it's almost overdone.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a Solera system.
Almost like Solera, like a four-man Solera system. Yeah, for sure.
Also, for the audience, what are the main things you should look out for when barrel aging?
It almost sounds kind of trite to say these things, but you wouldn't believe the kinds of stupid questions that I get from people, like emails about barrel aging. People asking me if they can do a barrel aged Ramos Gin Fizz, to which the answer is no fucking way. I think that, in order to be successful, in order to avoid drinks that are going to go bad, you want to stay away from ingredients that are going to spoil. You don't want to have anything containing dairy. I would imagine egg whites are probably pretty bad. Citrus juice, obviously bad. In order to be successful, I always like to have a drink that contains vermouth somewhere in there. I think that vermouth really works well in a barrel-aged cocktail. I also think that using non-barrel-aged ingredients in the barrel-aged cocktail is kind of important. That's why we do gin, why we do Negronis and not, say, Manhattans or Sazeracs or Old Fashions and things like that. I want to use something that doesn't already have wood applied to it. So I would never barrel-age an Old Fashioned because why not just use an older bourbon, right? I would never do a barrel-aged Sazerac because why not just use an older rye? So I want something that's going to be effective. I like Campari because Campari takes really well to wood. I like gin because gin takes really well to wood. And I like vermouth because vermouth oxidizes a little bit and takes well to wood and provides a lot of character to the drink. You know, that's why I think like a Trident is very good to age in a barrel. I think that things like a Bijou are very good to age in a barrel. Stuff like that.
Awesome. We don't have much time left, so I'm going to take some more questions from the audience. Does anyone have a question for any of the people on the stage? No?
Cut and dry. Oh.
He's asking if you ever combined Campari, gin, and peaty whiskey. And he wants to know, after you get all these dry ingredients, if you combine them to make a sweet cocktail.
If I've ever combined gin and Campari and peaty, like an Islay Scotch,
Yeah.
I have not done that.
Every single ingredient, I mean Campari, the gin, and the Islay Scotch are dry.
Dry?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah, sure. Yeah.
If you're going to connect those three ingredients, you're going to make a really sweet cocktail.
Sure.
The sweetness goes from Campari as well, and from the Scotch as well.
Yeah, so what's the question there? Like, where's the sweetness coming
No,
from?
if you've ever combined.
Have I tried that combination of Islay whiskey, Campari, and gin? Because individually they're very dry, but together you put them together and they're very sweet. Honestly, I wouldn't say that those ingredients are all very dry. To be honest with you, Islay Scotch, like Scotch whiskey, I find is incredibly sweet. I mean, first of all, it's made from barley, and second of all, it's aged in oak barrels. I don't find Campari to be very dry either. I think the sugar content of Campari is very high, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I know that the trend is away from sweetness, but I think sweetness is what brings flavor, and I think Campari is a very sweet liqueur. So combining what I think of as a very sweet whiskey with a very sweet liqueur and some dry gin to make a sweet cocktail, like, yeah, man, yeah, why not?
So, one question, then we'll have one more. He wants to know if you've ever completed the cocktail within a barrel by adding the twist, the oils of the orange.
If
Have you ever barrel-aged the cocktail with the oils of the orange inside of the barrel?
No, I haven't. I'm sure you could, but there's something about the idea of taking fresh orange peels and putting them in an oak barrel and letting it sit for a couple months. It sounds sort of disgusting to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love for you to prove me wrong, but that sounds kind of weird and slimy. Have you done this? Is that why you're asking me this? You've done it and you want like validation? No, I don't know, man. Like, you can try it. It sounds like why? Like you want to age the orange component? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I would get some Regan's orange bitters and age that. You know? Yeah. You can pay me back later for that.
We have the last two questions. One of them, is there a rule of thumb for aging Is there like a time frame that you should age for? Is there a time frame that you should never age over?
The first rule would be don't fuck it up. Obviously. Second rule is, I mean, if it sounds like it's going to spoil, don't put it in an oak barrel. And then the third rule, I guess, would be, continually check it and taste it. And if it tastes good, take it out of the barrel. Yeah,
So the last question was,
right.
the audience wants to know, are you single? And
No.
Are you
No. The audience meaning the MC? No, I'm not. I'm sorry, Leah.
You guys,
You had your chance.
I did. I'm so sorry. That one night I'm picking up.
Would you like to
Unfortunately,
say
we are
thank
out
you
of
to
time.
everybody who came out to hear us?
I was about to.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
No, please. You're doing a great job.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but they will be in the Campari booth if you have any more questions over here today and tomorrow. I wanted to thank all of you for inviting us in and for giving us some of your time, so thank you very much.